I've come to the conclusion that the objective method of measuring any game's quality is the amount of loud, unnecessary sounds I make when I play them. And by using this metric, I can certify that Sifu is absolute class, mate. It's fucking brilliant. If you're within earshot of me playing this game, you are guaranteed at some point to hear this noise. A noise that I've come to realise is directly correlated to how much fun I'm having in that moment. And throughout my entire time completing Sifu, that noise was being made almost constantly. But don't misunderstand, this game is most certainly not perfection. There's a fair bit of tweaking that would need to be done in order for it to get anywhere near that level. But to be fair, this is not at all a bad effort considering that this is only their second game. The juicy core of Sifu's fun is entering what I call the fun zone, where every dodge, attack, and parry seems to transition together in such a buttery way, you forget you are just some dude on a couch, and you haven't drunk any water in the past 12 hours. The combat is this elegant dance of applying just the right amount of weight and pressure while maintaining a safe distance from being ganked at any time. Making sure you're thinking 12 steps ahead is absolutely critical, as you can be kicked out of the fun zone just as easily as you entered. Now, if you're anything like me, you have a strong belief that being old is cringe and should be avoided at all costs, meaning I will in turn not be happy until there is not a single wrinkle or grey hair to be found until Yang has been bitch slapped to oblivion. But trust me when I say that this is a lot harder than it sounds. I remember seeing clips of people struggling on the first level and the inevitable Dark Souls comparisons and scoffing at the idea. But holy shit, yeah, this game is like Dark Souls, and I don't even mean that figuratively because it's really hard. I mean, they literally stole the posture mechanic from Sekiro. Now, obviously, this isn't the first time Slow Clap has taken inspiration from anything by From Software. I mean, who wouldn't? They're the undisputed goats of the industry. But in the case of Sifu, it absolutely pays off. The posture system was instrumented near perfectly into the game. It essentially serves as your defensive bar and helps you determine if the next course of action should be a parry, a dodge, or something you should just avoid altogether. Now, parrying has an extremely small window, but it tends to stop enemies in their tracks and decrease their structure as well as your own partially. This leaves them, as well as yourself, more open to a takedown or death. On the other hand, dodging has a much larger window of execution and increases your structure, but has a directional mechanic where you might have to dodge low or high depending on the attack. Whether to dodge or parry is mostly up to the enemy type or your preference, but in most instances, dodging is always the safer option, as there are only a few select attacks where you will have to dodge high on. But these are also instances where parrying isn't viable either, as these low attacks tend to do massive damage to your structure. But all in all, it's fun, and it makes you feel like Ip Man, which is never not a good thing. However, what is not a good thing is hands down the hardest enemy in the entire game. Something that I had a harder time with than all the fat dudes and the breakdancing crane kick girls combined, and that is the camera. This wall-hugging bitch is going to get you killed a lot, and when you're trying to focus on predicting attacks, the flow of your own, watching your structure, and being on the lookout for anyone with bottles alongside your steadily increasing anxiety over the teenage heroin epidemic.
Yeah, I take crack recreationally. It's not something I make a habit of doing. It's not physically addictive, so it's...
You don't think so?
Well...
The last thing you're thinking is, oh shite, I best be manoeuvring my camera so someone doesn't. This is why God of War had a fixed camera angle, having the right stick controlling the dodge direction instead. Because when a game only shows you what the director intends, there's no opportunity for unintended surprises, or at least when they do give the player control, they're given some sort of indication of nearby danger that isn't directly in front of them. Devil May Cry has a similar mechanic where enemies who aren't in view of the camera will not begin their attack until they're in the frame. Although an experienced player can exploit this, the game without it would be hell. The game also has a bit of a your turn, my turn feel to it with some enemies, meaning that some of them can't be hurt or opened up at all until the correct window for you to hit them is right there. Zero Lenny has a good example of this in his Dark Souls 2 video, where he shows how it kind of restricts the feeling of freedom in combat, moving from enemy to enemy, as you get the feeling that they control the flow of the fight, not yourself. However, during boss fights, this concept is implemented amazingly. With the exception of the gardener and the CEO, the other bosses almost entirely dictate the fight, and this goes especially for Yang. And this absolute garbage piece of fucking... Seriously, what soulless bastard made this boss fight? She swings her weapon so fast and so randomly, it's nearly impossible to dodge, but you can't parry either because her chip damage is fucking ludicrous.
So unless you unlock the sixth sense and go completely ultra instinct, you're going to be doing a lot of this.
But on the other hand, both of the fights with Yang have such an elegant back and forth flow to it once it stops being so one-sided that it was probably my favourite moment of the entire experience. But yeah, what else can I say? Shit's good. I literally completed the whole thing in 2 straight days of playing, so that's definitely saying something. It's really nice to just have a great game I can pick up and play without feeling like I'm in a committed relationship. As for what's next, I'm pretty sure they've confirmed they'll be releasing DLC sometime soon, so I'm really hoping for an endless mode or a bloody palace or maybe some new levels altogether. But yeah, not too bad. Back to Demon Souls.